Have you ever stopped to wonder why some people seem to walk under a constant shower of blessings, while others feel trapped in life's storms? What truly separates those who thrive from those who merely survive? Is it luck? Or is there something deeper, perhaps something divine that leads them to a different destiny? Today, you're about to uncover a truth that could shift your entire perspective. True prosperity doesn't rely solely on your strength or effort. It comes from something far more powerful, something that's within everyone's reach. But are you willing to listen? This isn't about chance or luck. Today, we're diving into something much greater: obedience to the voice of God. That voice which, if you truly hear it, can bring forth every blessing He has prepared for you. Are you ready to open your ears and your heart? The prosperity you long for is not some distant fantasy. It's closer than you think, and it begins with your willingness to obey. Can you hear it? Picture for a moment someone struggling through daily life, facing financial pressure, family issues, emotional battles. Each day feels like a fight. Sound familiar? Many of us have been there, searching for a way out, hoping for a glimpse of light at the end of the tunnel. But what happens when all your efforts still aren't enough? We're told that hard work, perseverance, and sacrifice are the keys to success. But what if that's not the whole truth? What if effort alone isn't enough to unlock the door to true prosperity? In Deuteronomy 28:1-2, God makes a powerful promise. If you listen carefully to the voice of the Lord your God, all these blessings will come upon you. But are we truly listening, or are we too caught up in chasing our own answers? We live in a world that glorifies self-reliance. We're taught that success is earned, that everything depends on how hard we work. But the deeper truth is this: real prosperity doesn't come just from doing more. It comes from following God's direction. Are you willing to shift your mindset? Are you ready to hear the voice that can change the course of your life? The key to prosperity is not in doing more, but in learning to obey. Have you ever wondered what it truly means to obey? It's not merely about following rules or ticking off a checklist. Real obedience is an act of deep trust, a decision to listen with an open heart, even when God's instructions don't make complete sense. Imagine someone standing at a crossroads staring into an uncertain future. Life is complicated, and the choices we make can send us down very different paths. How can we know we're choosing wisely? Are we truly listening to God, or are we just following what seems most convenient? To obey God is to acknowledge that He has a perfect plan for your life, a plan filled with blessings. But to walk in that plan, you must be willing to let go of your own ideas, your own expectations, and place your trust in Him. This doesn't mean the path will always be easy. In fact, obedience often requires sacrifice, tough choices, and walking through roads we don't fully understand. Jesus Himself showed us what it means to obey, even when the way is hard. He obeyed all the way to the cross, and through that complete trust in the Father, the greatest blessing was released: salvation for the entire world. So the real question isn't whether you're willing to work hard for your goals. The real question is, are you willing to listen to God's voice and follow His call, even when it's not what you expected or wanted? Because prosperity doesn't come to those who fight only for themselves. It comes to those who allow God to lead them. Are you willing to believe that what He has for you is far greater than anything you could plan for yourself? Prosperity begins with that choice: to obey. Now picture a barren field, dry, cracked soil where everything seems lifeless. At first glance, there's no hope. But beneath the surface, something stirs. A seed, hidden in the ground, begins to grow. Slowly, unseen, new life starts to emerge. That's what obedience to God is like. At first, it may feel like nothing is happening. But when you choose to obey, even without visible results, God begins to move in the unseen. He causes the seeds you've planted to grow, even in the driest ground. Deuteronomy 28:1-2 is not just a hopeful promise, it's a divine guarantee. If you carefully listen to the voice of the Lord your God, all these blessings will come upon you. Blessings don't arrive simply because you do what feels right or convenient. They come when you choose to listen and obey, even without understanding how those blessings will unfold. Now imagine that barren land transformed. The ground bursts with life, trees take root, fruits begin to grow. What once seemed like wasted effort becomes a field of abundance. Relationships are healed, peace settles within, and material blessings follow like a flowing river, bringing everything you need. But it all started with one decision, a simple but powerful choice to obey, to trust that God's plan is better, even if you don't understand it yet. True prosperity is born from surrendering your path to His. Because in the end, prosperity is not just having wealth or success. True prosperity is living in peace with God, being guided by His hand and witnessing His favor in every part of your life. This is God's promise for you. If you listen to His voice and choose to obey, He will provide everything you need. He desires to bless you, but first you must place your trust in Him and follow His ways. Do you see it now? The prosperity you've been seeking isn't found in your own strength, but in your obedience, and that's the path God is inviting you to walk. Now that you've glimpsed the blessing that flows from obedience, a crucial question arises. Are you truly ready to take that step? Obedience can be uncomfortable. It can challenge your desires, your mindset, your worldview. But what happens when things get tough? What do you do when obedience demands sacrifice? Picture yourself standing at a crossroads. One path is wide and easy, offering instant gratification. The other is narrow, uncertain, and much more difficult. And yet, it's that difficult path God is calling you to take. The one that requires faith and asks you to let go of what you thought was your safety. In moments like these, faith is all you have. Your trust that even in the unknown, God will be with you. He promises that if you listen to His voice and walk in His ways, the blessings will follow. He doesn't promise ease, but He does promise His presence, His strength, and that in the end, His plan is far better than yours. The real test of obedience isn't when life is smooth and blessings come easily. The real test is when everything feels like it's falling apart, when doubt tries to drown out your faith, when fear whispers it's time to give up. That's when obedience becomes an act of courage. That's when holding on to God's promises matters most, knowing that even in the storm, He is working, and all you're going through is part of His perfect design. In that moment, you must choose. Will you follow the easy road, or will you trust in the divine plan? Because even if it's not clear now, that difficult path is the one that leads to true prosperity, the kind that is born out of obedience and unwavering trust in God's control. Are you ready to take that step? Are you willing to walk the path He has laid out for you even when the future seems uncertain? In that moment of doubt, when everything feels lost and the temptation to quit grows stronger, God already has an answer. He didn't call you to obedience just to leave you alone in the battle. No, obedience is never empty. Every step toward Him is a step He honors with His faithfulness. Remember the words of Deuteronomy 28:2. If you carefully listen to the voice of the Lord your God, all these blessings will come upon you. In obedience, His powerful hand begins to move, and even if you don't see the results immediately, the moment you choose to trust, the heavens begin to open and His blessing flows into your life in ways you never expected. In those darkest moments when it feels like the sun will never shine again, that's when God steps in with His grace. He not only provides what you need, He gives you strength to keep going. He turns your struggles into lessons of faith and your challenges into opportunities to witness His power. But here's the amazing part. It's not just about what He does around you. It's about what He transforms within you. Obedience leads you to a place of true peace, a deep, unshakable trust that no matter what happens, God is in control. Prosperity isn't just about material wealth. True prosperity is living with peace, purpose, and spiritual abundance. When you walk the path of obedience, every step becomes a testimony of God's faithfulness. What once seemed impossible, He makes possible. Never forget this. The God who promised to bless you is not a God who fails. He is faithful, and He will fulfill His word. No matter how great the struggle, divine solutions begin to move when you decide to obey. And when that breakthrough comes, it won't just bring peace, it will open your eyes. You'll realize God has been working in every detail, preparing you for something far greater than you imagined. Obedience isn't just submission. It's the door to the fullness God designed for your life. You've heard the promise. You've seen how obedience can change everything. Now the most important part comes. What will you do with this truth? This isn't just a nice message. It's not just an inspiring story to hear and forget. This is about you, your life, your decision. Because God's promises aren't fairy tales. They're eternal covenants. And He's already spoken. Now it's your turn to listen. Maybe you've spent years trying to make things happen on your own. You've worked hard, pushed through, but something's always missing. That deep peace, that clear purpose, that lasting blessing. Today, God reminds you, the key isn't doing more. It's trusting more. It's about obeying, about putting Him back at the center. Because when He's at the center, everything else begins to align. Your work, your relationships, your dreams. As Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight." That's what it means to obey. To recognize Him in everything, and to trust that He knows exactly where He's leading you. Maybe you feel like you've failed too many times, like you're not worthy of the blessing, but hear this. God isn't asking for perfection. He's asking for willingness, for a humble heart that says, "Here I am, Lord. I want to obey." Biblical prosperity is not a magic formula. It's a relationship. It's walking with God daily, step by step, trusting that He will open the right doors at the perfect time. And believe me, He will. So ask yourself, am I living for my plans, or am I willing to follow His plan, even if I don't fully understand it yet? Because if today you choose obedience, if you surrender to His will, then get ready. What God is about to do in your life will exceed anything you've ever imagined. This is the moment, the turning point, not the end, but the beginning. Because everything you've heard up until now leads to one simple truth. It all comes down to your decision. God has already spoken. He has shown you the way. Now, He's asking you directly, are you ready to obey? Even when you don't see the full picture? Are you willing to trust, even when the ground beneath you feels dry? The prosperity He promised is not a dream. It's real. It's yours, but only if you choose to surrender. Only if you allow Him to guide your steps, your path, your story. Get up. Shake off the dust of doubt. You've waited long enough. You've tried everything on your own. Now is the time to walk in obedience with courage and faith. Because God isn't looking for titles, success, or perfection. He's looking for a heart that says, "Here I am, Lord. Let your will be done." Isaiah 1:19 says it clearly. If you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the best of the land. Did you hear that? The best. Not scraps, not leftovers. The best. But it all begins with one thing, a simple yes. A yes in the middle of fear, a yes in the middle of the unknown. A yes that opens heaven over your life. Today is the day you choose to trust. Today is the day you walk by faith, not by sight. Today is the day you stop resisting and start obeying. And when you say that yes with your whole heart, you will see God move. You will see true prosperity flow into your life. And from that moment on, nothing will ever be the same.